Hi everyone, welcome FACEIT fans, welcome general fans, welcome people who like Overwatch, welcome AMD and Bell fans especially. You might notice something very different. The stream's red, which means we're watching Toronto. And I've got a new shirt. Maybe some people saw on Twitter, I've got the whole setup. Hold on. Oh. Can I get my legs in shot? Can I stand up a chair safely? I can do it. Can you see? It's a bit shaky. I got the joggers. Hold on. I've got the hoodie as well. I'm putting it on. It's definitely too warm to put it on. But I'm putting it on. Thank you as well. It's a little bit baggy on me. I got a medium. But I guess they just make them fucking bigger in Canada, you know? Are Canadians bigger than English people? Is anyone from Canada who can confirm? It's kind of baggy, you know? It's kind of nice. It'd be nice in those Canadian winters I'm definitely going to experience here in the UK. But I like it. I've been kitted out. There was a bit of me. Now, obviously, I've been a London man. Not in the sense that I'm from London, but I've been on the London Spitfire for a while, so there was something initially uncomfortable about wearing another team's logo. But it's comfortable. That's quite nice. I like the colour, actually. I don't have any... I don't know why I'm puffing my chest out so much. Look, guys, I'm hench. I promise you I'm hench. Come on. What was I going to say? Yeah. Other than... yeah, that was for a bit of a stream where I talk about how hench I was, so we've covered that. But I don't really have... Most of my t-shirts are black. You've probably seen me wear a lot of the Cloud9 ones, but nice to have something in a lighter colour. More summery. So, I want to thank all the subs. Papa Joe. Is this for Blowjob Lips stream? Yeah, this is for Blowjob Lips stream. Thank you, Official. Thank you, Venom. Brig, please. So, yeah, thank you very much to Toronto. I appreciate all the merch. I appreciate the support. Obviously, some people have been less keen to support me lately, but Toronto, unwavering support from the Toronto Defiant. So I'm very grateful, I'm very thankful, and I'm very happy to be here covering the Toronto games. It is worth noting, now I'm in the past, well, it's my present, but you're in the future. So when you're seeing this, you're in the future. So please let me know what happens in the future, so then I can maybe make some sensible investments or some good bets or something. I can really profit off the ability of having contact with someone in the future. So let me know what's going to happen, and then we can work together here. But very grateful to Toronto and the whole team for the support, for the merch. I like it. I'm going to wear it. when I stream Toronto games. That seems like the logical thing to do. And we are here for Toronto games. I realised the thing's a little bit scuffed. Hold on. Can I fix this? Do I have the wherewithal to fix this now? Let me see. I might be the kind of guy who's gotten this in me. Hold on. Wait. Honestly, just keep waiting. Don't worry. Keep waiting. This is all going in the YouTube VOD. Keep waiting. Honestly, just keep... Yep. Alright, I think we've locked. I think I've nailed it. I've nailed it. Alright. So the real reason we're here is to watch Toronto. Thank you, Course. Thank you. Thank you for the bits. Is my alert thing not going off? Wait. Oh, it wouldn't be a stream unless it's scuffed. There we go. I'm getting it. I'm not getting the sound, but I think you all are getting the sound. So that we can work with, I think. If someone can give me, I guess, some kind of notification of the future that you're getting the sound. And we'll find out if that's good. If that's good or not in the future. But thank you for the bits, course comment. I appreciate it. We're here for Toronto. We're here for Toronto. And Toronto have a double-header to round out their FACEIT season. For those of you who haven't been following as much of a FACEIT action, you might not be surprised to realise Toronto are on top. They've won all their games so far. They are 13-0 out of 15 games. They're going to play the remaining 2 games tonight against Pirates in Pyjamas and TSM. Games, as always in North America, Toronto Defiant expect to win. So, the big question, I think, for Toronto really is not should they win, can they win, do they have the star power, anything like this, anything like this. It's about how they respond. It's about how they respond to adversity. In OWCS Stage 2, Toronto were given their first dose of adversity when M80 beat them in the upper bracket final, and they responded pretty well. They beat them the next day in the best of 7. They did the lower bracket. I say run. It was 1 game in the lower bracket. They bounced right back up from the lower bracket. They took them out in the upper bracket final pretty convincingly, ultimately. But this is a much bigger test of adversity. Losing, obviously, not winning the Dallas Major is one thing, of course, right? Everyone, these Koreans, they can play the Overwatch, right? They can play the Overwatch, and they kind of proved it once again that they're pretty good at it too. So, not winning is not the end of the world, but the way they went out, losing to ENCE, that's got to sting, right? It's got to sting. So how do they respond to this adversity? There's different ways you can respond to adversity in life. You can crumble, you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can come out swinging. You can come out swinging, and what better way to come out swinging than beat up on old Pirates in Pyjamas? We can take a little look. The rosters here. We're about 5 minutes out. I'm pretty sure this will be the starting lineup for everyone. Thank you as well, Toronto Defiant, for the 5 gifted. I appreciate it. Who got it? Anyone good? Muse got one? Sam HPL? Only good people got it, I think. Kai didn't get one? Fuck, poor Kai. Poor broke Kai, as they always say. But these rosters we have on screen, these will be our starting rosters, right? We'll have these starting rosters. And Pip it's actually quite an important game for Pip, because Pip are in this 8th place battle. So if this is for table, I'm sure you guys have seen Liquipedia before. Obviously, top 8 is what it's all about. The top 8 teams are going to go into a double elimination playoff bracket, and that will be played throughout the rest of June. And out of that, there are Esports World Cup spots up for grabs, but there's only 3 Esports World Cup spots up for grabs. And that's part of the problem, is because of results of Dallas, it means there's less spots in North America than it is in EMEA. So, a lot more to fight for. The way it's gone so far is the top 7 spots are actually secured. A lot of the usual candidates, obviously Toronto Defiant, well out in front. M80, TSM, NRG, all there, FMTL, Luminosity. Thank you very much, Fitch. I do appreciate. Am I going to stream the Cornell Heroes Grand Finals? Is it tomorrow? Is it all this weekend? I'm not going to get that answer for a little bit. But, but if it's tomorrow, maybe. It depends on the time. I'll have to figure it out afterwards. But a lot of the usual candidates here, I think probably these top 6 teams, everyone would have expected to make top 8. Shikigami have made a big late run. They had a very close game with Luminosity, so even though a loss, really seems like Shikigami have leveled up since Doomed has come in the roster. But what this means for the chasing pack is it is tight as you like between these 3 remaining teams. So remember, everything is out of 15 games total. So Citrus Nation have 1 game in hand, Green Fortnite have 2, and Pip have 3. So, a really important game for Pirates in Pyjamas. Again, even taking a map could be a big deal. Map difference factors into the tiebreaker as well as head-to-head. So, every map does really matter for Pirates in Pyjamas right now. We can take a little bit of a look at the remaining schedule. Now, it's a little bit scattered because some people have games left over from earlier weeks and all of this. So, if we focus on Pip initially, they have this Gilbert's Nightmare game. Must win. Thank you, Kasaurus. Nice that you get to sub, and a picture of you pops up on screen. Most people don't get that. A picture of themselves popping up on screen. I'll try and work in everybody else's pictures in the future for the subs. So, I'll try and do that. It's probably not that difficult, really. It's probably quite easy just to source pictures of everyone in chat. Wouldn't be a problem, I don't think. But yeah, Pip's run is a little bit varied. So they have Gilbert's Nightmare, surely an easy win. They have this Toronto game, which is the one we're about to watch, which is obviously hard, real tough. And they have this game in the middle against Citrus Nation, which is... that's a must-win, right? Citrus Nation, that's Citrus Nation's last game. So Pyjamas and Pyjamas can put 1 win on the board. Citrus Nation can put 1 win on the board max. But Pip can put 2 on the board if they can find a way over Citrus Nation. So a huge game, that Pip versus Citrus Nation 1. Really important. But obviously, if they can take a map here tonight, it's also massive. They did have their series against M80 earlier tonight, Pyjamas and Pyjamas, and it didn't look that great. They lost to the sort of makeshift, the ragtag bunch, or maybe ragtag's too harsh. The new look M80. Kalujin, Triin, who we expect to be fundamental parts of a roster. Also, Neroin, who very much is just a substitute for situations just like this, where maybe 4 people on your roster retire. So, good future planning by Gator and the M80 team to have Nero as the emergency guy. The other team we haven't talked about in this sort of race is Green Fortnite. Now, Green Fortnite also find themselves in a similar position, right? In the fact that they are on 6 wins. But Green Fortnite's games are actually quite tough. So they've got this one against NRG, which, NRG struggled a little bit because they were missing one of their players the other night. So they've struggled a little bit. But they also have M80 as well. So Green Fortnite might really struggle to get a win. So for Pip, it's really possible, even if they can't do it tonight. Even if they can't do it tonight, it's really possible. Crimso asked what happens to the teams in 9th and 12th. I can't remember exactly, but it's something to do with like relegation or they avoid relegation. So like these teams, I don't know if they're directly relegated or if they go into some kind of playoff with the teams coming up from Expert, or if there's a little bit of one, little bit of both. Let me know if you need Danny headshots. I'm in constant need of Danny headshots. It's such a constant need in my life. I've never got enough Danny headshots. I look around for them constantly. I want to put them up in my house. I want to put them up in my bathroom. You know, just all the normal places you would put Danny headshots. So if you've got Danny headshots to spare, I will gladly take them. But yeah, I think this line is just the stay in Masters, which is obviously a good thing for a lot of these teams, but always more to aim for, right? Always more to aim for. And I think we're going to we're getting to the lineup finalization stage. I don't expect we'll see any surprises. Rhino also played a couple of games for Pip earlier, but I very much felt like just cover the Strider. Strider is the main man for this team. And I guess the other interesting thing for both teams is what meta is everyone playing now. We saw Mauga really come to the fore very much in the Dallas Major. And we saw Toronto lean into it. It wasn't the greatest look for Toronto, obviously. They did struggle as well against FMCL in the FACEIT game before the Dallas Major in that Mauga mirror. So potentially not the strongest comp for Toronto right now. They always have the ability that a lot of these American teams don't have to the same extent of just being able to play a bit of everything, right? Tech into dive, tech into these other things. And that's what we'll get a little bit of as we go into the map draft. Because Toronto have a lot of maps in the pool open to them because of their flexibility. And it's one it didn't feel like they used it to the full extent in Dallas, but it is something it feels like they're able to use against the other North American teams especially. And I think we saw that in Toronto's win over FMCL, even though they lost that first map in the Mauga Mirror, they were able to play some of the Sigma, able to play some of the Dive. It worked out really nice. So we'll get the lineup finalization here, and then we'll go into the map picks and bans. Now, drafting against Pip, Toronto do have advantage by picking maps 1 and maps 3, as well as getting bans in all the maps as well. We'll go into the first one here. So Toronto will ban first. Toronto do mostly ban Samoa. Obviously, we've seen that little bit of a meta shift from Dallas, so we'll see if that changes all that much. Nope, still going to be Samoa. Pip, ban Nepal. Pip actually are super predictable in their bans. They just ban the same map every time. They've really taken the approach to the map ban system of, let's just make the entire map pool smaller so we have less maps to practice. So very much expect for Nepal ban from Pip. We're going to get that one there. So Toronto normally pick Nepal or Oasis. So very much feels like we're probably going to go to Oasis here. the way the map ban system works is we don't get to see it right. We see the bans, but we don't see the map pick until the whole thing's done. So we get a big reveal at the end. Very, very exciting. So, all right, map 1 locked in, and we'll move in to map number 2. So, Pip, always ban Hollywood. There it goes. Immediate. Map bans are normally Ike there or Midtown for Toronto. I imagine they're probably more happy to play dive into Pip, so it might be a mid. They actually go for an Iconworld ban here. So Pip normally pick Iconworld, but then Midtown. So I do expect us to be going to Midtown on that second point. Historically, Toronto have done some bat brig on that one as well. Toronto are going to get the first ban here. Probably normally Shambali they ban. Sometimes Junkertown, but normally Shambali. I imagine Toronto probably haven't overthought the draft that much here. They're probably quite happy just to lean on their comfort maps. So it's actually going to be Junkertown they ban. So expect, normally Toronto likes to pick Route 66, but Pip always ban Route 66. So as Toronto normally ban Shambali, I think they'll probably lean on Rialto here, but we'll get that all in a second and we'll get our invite. So yeah, Busan actually first map, Midtown and Rialto. So we got our invite to lobby. We're locking in. And I can take you with me. So let's go to the lobby. Pip will be on the left, Toronto on the right. Let me fix my game sound. Turned it down earlier. 42 is the magic number. Having your volume on any other number, stupid. Never put it on any other number. Always 42. Important to remember that. That tip is free. So we'll go straight into Busan here. Obviously, one thing we know from Busan is quite variety. Is quite a varied map round to round. On Sanctuary, we very much expect Bull, Zen, Anna, the double flex support comp. And on Downtown, we'll expect a dive look. We saw Merritt play Ash at the Dallas Major. And obviously on Mecha Base, well, it's just going to have to probably be Amalgama of some sort. Maybe Sigma. I think there is an interesting decision here for Toronto. Whether they feel they can lean into the Malga comp still, and they need to improve that and fix that and get better at it, or if they're just going to sort of ditch it and lean more into the Sigma, which they have had some success on. So we're in Busan. We're here. Prediction-wise before the game, well, it's probably obvious, right? Toronto 2-0. Be really surprising if Toronto drop a map here. We're going to start in the middle of the ocean, as we always do in Busan. A nice scenic picture. The train is on time, as it always is in Busan. And we'll get to see where we're starting and what comps we're starting on. So I see Malga. Yeah, Mecha Base. Very much seems on the cards, doesn't it? And interesting, initially, if they continue with this, Toronto are opting into the Sigma variant. Now, obviously, they struggled into Entz's version of this comp when playing the Malga. So it feels like they certainly feel the advantage in the meta is there, or at least for them in terms of the heroes they're good at, their comfort and all of this. And that's where they feel the advantage is. So, we're going in. Strider will be on the Malga, Stone will be on the Venture, Chronic on the Cass. Sugarfree will be TPing out and swapping Tracer. So very much the onus on Pip to go first here. When we've seen Strider play in the past, he has been a very aggressive tank, and that lends itself to Malga quite well. And there comes that initial overrun. Wants to chase the Tracer out first. They really want to chase Sugarfree. But he's just going to blink away. They're going all the way behind here, flipping the map. Someone, early rock catches Stone. There's a joke in there somewhere, but I don't know what it is at this moment. And they're just going to try and keep the space. They want to keep the map as wide as possible. You see them trying to hunt down Merritt, but again, Toronto rotate, keeping the space. Rock comes back again. They've kept him at arm's length, and Sugarfree has captured the point. They forced the lamp. They've kept the space well, and now they've bled out some resources. Toronto can peek a little bit more aggressively. They've healed up, and now Strider comes. He's diving in. He's burrowing. Here comes Malga on top, but Sugarfree catches one in the back. They're trying to plow through onto RuPaul. He is awfully low. RuPaul needs all the help in the world. He will die. But they trade it pretty effectively here. Sugarfree and Merritt still in the mix. Window will come out here, but shut down immediately is Divinity. And it's all Toronto all the way. And that's generally how you'll see this matchup played. You'll see the Malga team generally wants to engage, wants to be aggressive. And you'll see the Sigma team try and take that back step, try and keep the space, maintain the space. We actually see Stone go sim here. So again, want to try and get their whole team a little bit closer. They lost Chronic on their last push. Sugar Free getting that value as he so often does. High Noon aggressive from Merit, just catches Stone before anything happens. The cancel no good from Strider. And again, Sugar Free doing so much damage of the back here will pick off Chronic as well. And it's straightforward for him so far. And this time, even RuPaul survives. A strong start for Toronto, and they find themselves in a commanding position. They've not even really had to use any ults yet, just a High Noon. Stone's going to go on to Tracer this time now. They're going to try and come out top again, but someone is holding aggressively, wants that early damage, wants to poke on them. They're going to try and rotate away to point here. But Toronto going to be quite happy with this. They can keep the space. Someone's just going to try and put damage on. They've just beamed Strider down. It's a disaster for Pip on this retake. As easy as you like it, Desperation High Noon gets nothing. And Pip seem all at sea. Hinge is going to drop a one-man beat. And it's not a good one-man beat, and there probably isn't a good version of a one-man beat, really. Last touch from Strider. All the ults now just free to throw away. Boop onto Chronic to deny the touch. Stone will get one more, but it's all Toronto, and it seems to be that one-sided affair we all expected, right? Seems to be that one-sided affair we all expected. Absolutely dominant for Toronto in that version of the mirror. Comparing this to the Dallas Major, where quite a lot of teams felt pretty significant pressure from the Malga. Felt they couldn't survive. Felt they'd often die on that initial engage. Couldn't keep their BAP up, couldn't keep their CAS up, all of this. But not a problem at all for Toronto here, and now we're going to move on to dive. It seems like Pip are going to be keeping their feet squarely on the ground. So, the big thing here for Toronto, the nade timings, the dynamite timings. The nice thing about playing to Malga as well, he's sometimes hard to kill and he's scary for the Winston. The nades are free. The dynamites are free. Nothing to block them, nothing to absorb them. So keep your eyes on RuPaul here. Chance for a series of giant nades. Early dynamite from Merit doesn't find anything as someone will stage above. He's going to swap to the other high ground now. No need to rush if you're Toronto. Bleed them out. Make them walk to point. Sugar Free can cap if they're too scared. Point's going to unlock in 8 seconds. Sugar Free leaning that way already. Pip poking their holes out for now. And Stone's going to try and contest, but he has to cross in front of Merit and Vega, so he's going to have to burrow back to his team. Sugar Free will cap, and they're trying to rush onto RuPaul right now. RuPaul is in trouble. Nade is there for the trade. He will die for it, but they get 1 for 1. Can they get any more? The Cardiac Overdrive helps Pip stabilize for now. And they have managed to survive, and they can repush. Main source of healing gone, and now the burrow onto the high ground. All over Merit. Stone's going to take him down. Someone is still trading in the back, but Pip are going to regroup inside this. They still don't have control of point, but they do now have map control. They can force Sugar Free out. Oh, the dinks are good. Chronic back just in time to finish that one off the Divinity. And someone has to bubble defensively, and Pip get themselves back in control. Found that aggressive timing onto RuPaul, and they punish him. Toronto now with the retake. Kitsune Rush available for Divinity here. Bringing it up to a pretty healthy bank as well. We're going to see Vega go onto Valkyrie as well. He will be forcing point with Sugar Free. They're trying to dive onto RuPaul again. RuPaul's rotation is a little bit quicker this time. He's given them the slip, and they flip the point. This is the problem with the Venture CAS. You don't have the same point presence as you do with a Tracer. They're going to try and dive for high ground, try and catch Hinge. They can't, though. Pip are very split right now. Hinge, the rest of the team had moved. Hinge wasn't there. So a free kill for Toronto. Now they're going to go help RuPaul on point. He kept trying to rotate away. They do catch him, but the nade is good enough to trade Strider. Kitsune rush on point, but Pip are outmanned, outgunned here. Vega will pocket someone through onto point. They regroup behind, but there's the dynamite. There's the finish. Stone onto the tracks. And just an untidy rotation here. An untidy rotation from Pip. Easily picked apart. And full control again. And they didn't have to use any ults for that. And that's the real problem for Pip, is they have to walk into all these ults again. Eyes on RuPaul from this nade on rotation. Again, you see RuPaul leaning towards the other side of point. Bob is early, actually. Vega will be topped up. Hinge doesn't even make it that far, but nade is good. Suzu saves everyone, but that sets up the kills. They're vulnerable. Vega from one side, Merit from above. And they've absolutely crushed them. Absolutely crushed them. Felt like they've tidied this up a little bit from when they ran the same comp. It's going to be a Kitsune Russian spawn. Hinged. Another one-man beat. Back-to-back with the one-mans, and this touch is going to look very hard. Stone does manage to slip through the primal to get it, and Strider is coming afterwards. Stone manages to recall, play his own life, but Sugar-Free and RuPaul, they've killed everyone in the back. Cage on point, but this monkey's happy in a cage. Takes care of this one. Hinged will get one more, immediately naded and taken off, and, well, all Toronto all the way. What did they lose? Maybe one fight? One fight across that Busan? That was a quick one. That was a quick one. We'll get play of the game from Sugar-Free. Maybe one of these classic Sugar-Free ones, I think. Cleaning up fights as the other team push in. Good sleep onto Hinge. Oh, it's the Nano right at the end. Running into the spawn. Dealing with everyone. Easy as you like. Pip really split and staggered. Trying to regroup, trying to get the touch, but all a mess. We'll get the invite to the next one, where we're obviously going to Midtown. Let me get... Where's my thing? Can I get this updated? I think I can. It'll come back, I'm sure of it. Always a small delay with the FACEIT updating. But I have confidence, I have faith. Unwavering faith in it coming back. So we're going to Midtown. Interesting decision here, obviously. What Toronto run. We've seen Bat Brig. We've seen some Sigma in the past. We've seen some Mauga. We'll see what they choose to line up on. But yeah, Sigma, Bat Brig. Same as they did in Dallas. No changes there for them. And now Pip have a decision to make. Because that Mauga mirror didn't feel close at all, did it? Didn't feel close at all. Do they go for something different? Do they have something different in their locker? Obviously, Strider has a bit of a ball on him. We saw it work for Crazy Raccoon. But very different situation here. Crazy Raccoon have, obviously, substantial talent on their roster. Not quite the same. Not quite the same here. We'll see Toronto start on the defense. The usual comp. Merit, probably the star performer, I think, for Toronto, honestly. At the Dallas Major. And Sugar-Free's going to get the really early kill. Strider will go back onto... Nope. Mauga for a second. Sigma now. So Sigma, Lucio, Venture. Chronic onto the Cass 2. So a nice easy start with that early pick. The Venture can obviously be an absolute menace to the Cass and the Bat Pit. Rock back from someone, holds the choke for now. Sugar-Free is in the back, harassing them. Just playing on the stairs behind Pip here as they try and rotate in. They will swing now. Merit's coming the other side of a fire truck. It's an aggressive jump in from Stone, looking for pressure onto RuPaul. Forces the lamp, needs a pack or two. He's trying to go onto the train, but Stone's going after him. Toronto have won the fight on in the main, but they've lost their BAP here. Strider's going to probably stagger himself more than anything here. Yeah. They're going to let him for a bit as well. Vega's actually low, dodges the rock. Playing with fire here, Toronto, but confident Strider wouldn't hit the shots on Vega. And that's bought them a crucial little bit of extra time. Crucial little bit of extra time to get RuPaul back in the fight. And he'll be here. No drama for Toronto. No real ults so far. Was a nice play from Stone to separate and split RuPaul, focusing down. But ultimately lost the fight in main. They're going to clear Sugar-Free up top this time. Remove that threat from behind. And now Pip can start trying to move. Divinity will have this window pretty soon. But look how someone's just charged Flux already. So can drop this one early if he finds the opportunity. He's lurking above him now. He actually wants Pip to move out from underneath the train before he drops it. This might be the go time for someone. It is indeed. Lamps forced already. Rockets dodged. They're all dead in the air. And it's just apparent at this point that someone is clearly using an AMD processor. You can really tell by how quickly he's getting these flux, how many he's hitting with these flux, and how quickly they're dying. You can tell it's an AMD processor. And an easy one off that early flux for Toronto. Full control, 2 minutes off the clock. We're going to get the big ult fight now. It is obviously a technical ult advantage here. The flux can be the swing factor. Toronto happy to peek up early. Likely just going to be a window trade. They're going to start the same way, Pip. They're going to clear out the tracer top. If they want to come train, they're going to go back through main. Training's become an increasingly popular attack route, but they're not going to do it. Flux onto the window. Merit is high, and he's going to be beat to live. Stone goes for the dive, but that's a suicide trip. Goes flying into a Flux High Noon there. I don't think Stone was hoping for... Well, he was hoping for something, but it does not work out. But that was actually... Toronto just pressed everything. They just pressed everything. So, a tectonic shock and a beat coming back. This is Pip's opportunity. A full hold was on the cards, but this is a hard one. They've gone to fight really early. They're trying to catch him by surprise. Lamp is forced, but now the beat. They can trade onto someone, surely. Toronto go head first into this beat. And is the idea here from Toronto to force the beat in this situation so they get a retake? And there is no time on point right now. And Sugar Free has traded the bat. Will go down before they all get on point. Vega's going to go over to Lucio to help him get back. So they're playing for the recontest here. So I think tactical choice. Divinity's gone Kiri to get back quicker as well. Still a high noon and a tectonic shock to push back into. So Toronto have probably really fumbled the economy. Someone's going to move for the touch now. Stone is going to get above. Pressure onto Vega. Vega gets the first touch in super danger there. Will get forced down. Tectonic shock at the choke. Someone's going to keep trying to walk, but Stone's going to force him into a C9. And Pip are off the mark. First point has been secured. Now they move on to second point. Now, second point can often be the hardest to cap, especially against Bat Brig. Such good control of that high ground. Such a sturdy comp. But they're still in a little bit of an alt hole from their previous misadventures on that fight before last. So Flux will be coming back up for someone. Chronic has high noon. An initial trade. Rock is good onto Chronic. They have to concede for high ground here. They've just muscled them off it here, and they're going to try and get underneath, but they've left the cart behind. So for Flux to chase the pulse bomb with it. A setup and a knock him down. A firework display from Toronto. And they'll stagger out the Kiri here for a painfully long amount of time. Vega will be forced to take him down. And a solid hold. Flux again good from someone. He only seems to get 4 to 5 man fluxes so far this game. Window from RuPaul. Merit with a high noon. Kitsune rush. Flux for Pip coming back. And he should be the ults to do it. If RuPaul drops window, you can flux it. Stop them getting any value chance of a kill. The cart's still quite far back for Pip though, so they have to do some work for that first. If they want to go for an aggressive high noon here, they're going to go for the flux. High noon defensive from Merit again. Will get pocketed and lamped through it. Stone is underneath trying to commit to the kill. They're going to matrix it. Merit's isolated here. The rest of Pip are going to Kitsune rush on the front line. They're going to demolish him as well. They will win this fight. They'll keep everyone alive. Sugar Free's going to try and keep himself alive as well, all the way behind. And he will manage that. But a good fight from Pip. They get themselves the high ground. They get the payload moving. It's still got a long way to go. And Pip are actually holding close. If they want to go early with this beat, that seems to be the plan. I don't know if Toronto are ready for this. Strider's going to swing. They window back. Where's the beat? Stone's been left on point versus Sugar Free. They're choosing not to beat. Hinge is split. Oh, Pip. They force out the early window, to be fair, and disengage it. It's actually just a good trade. And now they still have this beat for the push. Toronto do get a chance to stabilize, but they don't quite have Flux. They don't quite have Rally. Desperate for these ults, but the longer Pip take, the closer someone will get. By the time they come high ground now, someone's going to have Flux. They still have a beat to survive it, but it might be more of a beat to survive than a beat to push. Sugar Free still lurking behind, causing problems. Chronic and Stone both low. Here comes the Flux. They're going to need that beat. Hinge is going to drop it. Everyone will live. They can stabilize and keep this cart moving, but now the rock, the pulse bomb, Hinge will go down. The rally over the top, the tectonic shock. It's not enough, I don't think. It really is not enough, and overtime will end at 94.88 meters. That's as far as Pip will get. It's something to work with, but we'll see it as we go back into the map here. Switching sides. We'll see it. The payload is just here. And it's such an awkward place. If Toronto can cap first, and but when this series has gone so far, you gotta wager it's possible, actually. You gotta wager it's possible. But once you get to this part, it's really awkward because you have to kind of... Generally, when you play this part of the map, it's this corner you want to really hold on. This is where the most cover is. This is where it's nicest for your tank to play if you can't hold for high ground. So having to step here means you're just exposed. So as soon as you sort of burn through your cooldowns and your resources, the touch becomes really awkward here. So a very big advantage for Toronto once they get to that part of the map. If they can get underneath, they can really play through cart quite heavily. Obviously, they got to get there first, and it will be Bat, Brig, Sigma, likely again from Toronto. Back to the Mauga, the Venture, the Cass. And it seems like Pip have a sneaky idea in mind. Seems like they're going to go in on this first occasion. Playing more of a standard game hasn't worked for him. Sugarfree's going to start on May. We'll see if he'll stick to that. They're waiting, listening for their opportunity. Sugarfree's going to be on Widow. Might regret that. Here it comes. Explosive out. They try and lamp out. They catch him. They lose Divinity on the way in, which is actually the worst person you possibly could lose. Strider's going to shake his mouse around to avoid headshots. And Vega's actually going to go onto the Zen here. Sugarfree onto Tracer. They have to give the space here to pick up Divinity. You can see Strider lurking again. Sugarfree's going to find him, though. They should be able to clear Sugarfree off point. Have to be careful because Vega's actually swung quite wide here. Stone's going to chase down Sugarfree, forces for recall. Sugarfree will be forced all the way out, but the rest of Toronto have taken space. Now Strider looking for that aggressive move onto RuPaul. RuPaul will run. Someone is behind, just farming damage into all of them, but they just demolished the backline. This is what we saw in Dallas for BAP, for Cass. They were the primary targets. Pip have ramped up the aggression. They'll come back and stop Vega getting a tick. They lose Chronic to Sugarfree. Sugarfree always such a menace in the backline. And they give themselves a bit of a chance here, honestly. Holding it aggressively again. We've seen Stone get back to back to back. Big value. This time they're going to start by forcing point. Chronic and Hinged there to meet it. Now they come in. Drill Dash to get closer. Pressure onto Vega. Burrow comes through from Stone. Looking for merit here, I think. They've lost Hinged on the point, though. Stone can't quite find anything to get behind, and they've survived this initial aggression. Looking for more here, Stone. Takes the duel with the Tracer. Will Burrow underneath. Forces for recall. Sugarfree back to full health, though. Should be able to finish this one off. No problem for Sugar. And they do get that first cab. They were caught off guard a couple of times there, Toronto. Not able to handle that early aggression. But third time, they're more ready for it. All of Pip get the forward spawn here, but Toronto already have a couple of players on the high ground. Vega now back on that Lucio. And it looks like a Pip going to go to Cart. They want to go to the Toronto spawn. They're going to walk right through someone, just flip the map. Behind it on the other side, the Pulse Bomb's good. Tectonic Shock, Kitsune Rush, all in exchange. Toronto can just wait this out. The Cart's moving forward anyway. This is how Midtown works. The Cart's just going to keep moving. Potential disaster for Pip if they can't find a win. They go in, but RuPaul's got a good window. Tectonic Shock straps it down, though. Vega will fall too. Someone's trying to trade all the kills. And they push through the window, but unfortunately for Pip, once they push through the window, there's a bunch of Toronto players just using the window from the other side, so they still get obliterated. Just under 4 minutes on the clock. Just under 4 minutes on the clock. And this is the part of the map we were talking about before, where it's really difficult for Pip to hold in this corner. They have to deal with this Flux too. They have High Noon, don't quite have beat yet. Strider's moving out. Rocket's dodged by Strider, but hit by Chronic. Now the High Noon. Chronic kind of wanted to get in that one, take the high ground. They deal with it though. Flux doesn't connect, but the payload is still moving. Pip are going to drop behind him here. They catch Vega, trade it for Stone. Strider crucially watching, but the point, Pip, it's just rolling away. It's just rolling away. Oh, Pip. Oh, Pip. There we go. There's that one where Pip were able to push through the window. And the rest of the team just get the clean up. You've seen that sort of become a common race quite a lot of the time when the Sigma BAP Cass are in this formation. The Mauga, let me use a different colour for the Mauga. The Mauga will come and do something aggressive. The Mauga's coming in. The Venture's coming from underground. And then what happens is the BAP and Cass are going to try and kite in a certain way. Often you'll see them try and kite a little bit split so they can't both be focused. But then what happens for everyone else is the Sigma's got to try and do as much damage. You see Sugarfree doing the same, trying to follow up as much damage. And I think actually most of the time when Pip went in, even when they found value, there was always trades, right? Someone was able to put so much damage in. I think that's why we saw so many quick fluxes, everything like that. So I think well played from Toronto. I think they played to the win conditions of their comp. Pip managed to find some limited success, but it really was quite limited success. And honestly, it's not maybe the most surprising thing we're going to see. Toronto beat Pip. Of all the games we looked at the start in terms of Pip's strength of schedule, they've also got Gilbert's Nightmare to play, and I want to say M80. Did I make... No, that's Green Fortnite's game. Who else do they have? Oh, yeah, Citrus Nation. They have that crunch match against Citrus Nation. So this was, of their 3 games left, this was 100% the hardest one to win. This one's really 50-50, and this one should be a slam dunk for Pip. So Pip, still in control of their destiny, still in control of their ability to get into that top 8 spot and move on to playoffs coming up later this month. So not the end of the world for Pip at all, but not particularly close either. So we can take a look at the scoreboard because it's fun to look at numbers and you get to see which team had the bigger numbers. I think Toronto will have the bigger numbers. That's my big prediction here. And yeah, this is for Busan. And as you can see, it's one-sided. It's one-sided, right? Lots of single death maps, Merit, Sugar-Free Someone, all on single deaths. 26-1 for Merit. That's all right, that, isn't it? That's all right. Pip will probably be disappointed with a lot of the fights. It felt, especially the Busan, they didn't get a look in, right? Obviously, the C9 on Midtown doesn't help at all. They were still staring down a full 4-minute time bank. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Then we move on to Midtown, which was more competitive. We saw a few more people getting caught. You can see Vega and RuPaul suddenly on the 6 and 5 deaths, respectively. Obviously, still not as much as anyone on Pip, but you can certainly see it start to even itself up a little bit. But still, Sugar-Free, massive numbers, 31 and 3, 8k damage. Can't ask for too much more. I think worth noting here, Nat Stone was actually 16 and 8. Really, it felt like if there was a silver lining here is Stone on the Venture. Looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty good. I think had a pretty large impact. I say large impact. They still kind of got rolled, if we're being frank. And I'm being frank. They got rolled. But realistically, I think Stone was actually still quite impressive. It's always been the kind of story for Pip, I think, so far, in terms of that. In terms of... Hold on, sorry, I'm gonna get a message. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Pip's strength has always been the DPS players, right? Chronic and Stone have always been the stars, previously mostly on like Sojourn and Tracer, but Chronic obviously is just good at clicking on stuff, is what he does. Stone on the Venture, though, actually looked really promising. So I think this style, the way Strider likes to play, this aggressive style, I think it does suit Pip in theory. Maybe the most interesting thing is still that it feels like Toronto don't want to lean into this Malga comp. I think when I was watching over Dallas and a little bit beforehand in some of their FACEIT games, it did feel like the Malga Mirror was one of the few comps Toronto didn't feel just the best team on. Most of the time we watch Toronto play their domestic competition, it really just feels like they can kind of do what they want. Whatever Toronto decide is the best comp for the map tends to work out to be the best comp for the map for them. But in that Malga Mirror, it doesn't quite feel the same, so it's interesting to note they're leaning away from this. We'll see if that sticks. Obviously, the caveat here is probably that after Dallas, most of the teams that were competing at Dallas have taken some version of a break. Whether that is a full week off. I think a lot of the EMEA teams tried to schedule loads of their games before, FACEIT games before Dallas, to have a bit of a week off now. Obviously, I think all of the American teams, the NRGs, the Torontos, the M80s, have all taken a bit of a break as well, so not scrimmed as much. So it could also just be that they have a clearer style of how they want to play the Sigma into the Malga, something they practiced more before Dallas. So just lean into that because it's more comfortable and probably enough to win their games today, rather than trying to improve and fix their Malga comp, which maybe they don't feel as strong on. That would be my read on the situation.